Hi, welcome to Mrs. Park's Algebra 1 class. This is lesson 5.3, solving multi-step inequalities. So just like we've been doing solving equations in the previous chapters, we've learned how to solve inequalities by adding, subtracting, and multiplying, dividing. The only real difference we had was when we're multiplying, dividing by a negative number, you flip the sign, the inequality goes the opposite way. Okay, so we are going to add one more, maybe one or two more steps to this, solving multi-step inequalities, just like when we were solving equations with multi-steps. All right, so why are we doing this? A salesperson may make a base monthly salary and earn a commission on each of her sales. To find the number of sales she needs to make to pay her monthly bills, she can use a multi-step inequality. Okay, multi-step inequalities can be solved by undoing the operations in the same way you would solve a multi-step equation. So it's the same thing. The only thing to look out for is when you're multiplying or dividing by a negative number. Okay, so the solution to Mrs. Jones' salaries. Okay, write in solving inequalities. Find the sales Mrs. Jones needs if she earns a salary of $2,000. Oh, actually, I want that in red. Okay, so her salary is $2,000 plus, there's a plus sign right there, 10% commission on her sales. So her goal is to make at least $4,000 a month. She needs to make at least that, at least. Okay. What sales does she need to make to meet her goal? So we have the $2,000 that she gets for her salary, plus sign right here. 10% is 0.10. X. I don't know how many sales she's going to make. That's what I'm trying to find out, because it's 10% per sale. It has to be greater or equal to $4,000. Okay, that equal means she just made it even. So she has made just enough to make her bills. But if it's greater, it'll be better. So here we go, 2,000 plus 0.10x is greater or equal to 4,000. What we do here is subtract 2,000 on each side to get rid of this 2,000 here. And we have 4,000 minus 2,000, which becomes 2,000. Next step, we're going to divide by 0.10 on each side, and we get 20,000. Okay, so she must make at least $20,000 in sales to meet her monthly goal. Okay. Inequality involving a negative coefficient. So here is the term with the variable. So I want, again, it just to be y. Before, when we did equations, we wanted y equals a number. Now we have still y and a number, but this time it's not equal sign, it's an inequality. So same goal here. I'm going to try to get rid of everything else. So I'm going to add 13 to each side. And that gave me negative 11y is greater than 55. Now, I want to divide by negative 11 on each side. By a negative 11. So you're going to switch the sign to the opposite way. Now you have y is less than negative 5. Okay, so this is where it's your turn. Make sure you get a piece of paper. You have your name and date and 5-3 as your lesson. And your turn number 1. So pause this video and solve for W. And come back when you are done. Alright, hopefully you're done with your turn number 1. Let's go over example number 3. Write and solve an inequality. Define a variable, write an inequality, and solve the problem. 5 minus 6 times a number is more than 4 times the number plus 45. Okay, so all you're doing is really translating these into numbers. So 5, you have your 5. Minus, you have your minus here. 6 times a number, 6n. More than, you have the greater than sign. 4 times the number. They said 4 times the number because they're talking about the same number here, so we use the same n. Plus, here's the plus sign. 45. So all these words you see here, this long sentence, you just put it in numbers and signs. All right, so you have, let me just rewrite this over here. Whoops, wrong number. All right, so you have 5 minus 6n greater than 4n plus 45. Okay, I still like the habit of writing vertically like we did when we were solving equations, so let's just keep on doing that. All right, so what we do here, let's take away 5 on each side to make all the numbers on the right side. That's gone. You have negative 6n greater than 4n. You have 45 minus 5, so you have now 40, so plus 40. Take away 4n on each side, because I want my n to be on my left side. That's gone. Negative 6n minus 4n, negative 10n. Still, it's greater than 40. Okay. Now we're going to divide by negative 10. And there's my red flag, negative. So when you divide by a negative number, the sign is going to be flipped. And you have 40 divided by negative 10, which is negative 4. So you have n is less than negative 4. Your turn. 2 more than half of a number. You want to put 1/2 of a number n. It's greater than 27. Make sure you write that down on your paper and hand it in for homework tomorrow. All right, now we're going to go into distributive property. Okay, as you guys are familiar with, when we do distributive property, you're distributing, that means give out all of inside what you have out here, which is a 4. So when I say distribute, that means multiply. So 4 times 3t, 12t, minus, this minus sign comes down here. 4 times 5, 20, plus 7, everything else I didn't do anything else to it, so I'm going to just rewrite that right here. Now let's start simplifying. Negative 20 plus 7 became negative 13. Now you subtracted 8t on each side. 12t minus 8t became 4t. Add 13 to each side. This side became 16. Divided by 4. X is greater or equal to 4. Your turn number 3. Pause the video. Come back when you're done. Alright. Okay, welcome back. I want to do one more problem with you because this one has distributive property on both sides to make it a little bit more complicated and more fun. Alright, so the first thing I like to do is draw those arrows so that I know for sure that I'm doing each one. So 2 times h, 2h, plus 2 times 6, 12. I'm going to use the same sign, greater than. Negative 3 times 8, negative 24. Negative 3 minus h, a negative and minus will be plus 3h. Okay. I want all my h's on one side and my numbers on the other side. So let's take away 12 here and here. Get rid of that. You have 2h. That's gone. Sign is still greater than. Negative 24 minus 12 is negative 36 plus 3h. Okay. I think I'm going to use a different color here because the blue doesn't show well. Let's use purple. Okay. So I'm going to take away 3h. Oh, that's a bad choice. No, thanks. How about yellow? Minus 3h on each side. That got rid of that. 2h minus 3h will give me a negative h. Whoops, not 3. A negative h. A negative 1h, but I don't have to write the 1 because that's an invisible 1 there. It's greater than negative 36. Now I'm going to divide by negative 1 to get rid of that negative sign. And I set negative 1, so now it's going to be changed to less than 36. So final answer, h is less than 36. Okay, so there are going to be examples where you have empty sets and all real numbers. Okay, so when you do an inequality and you answer, when you went through all this and answer is, it looks kind of funny, there's no variables, it just has numbers. 25 is less or equal to negative 12. That doesn't make sense. 25 is greater than negative 12. It can be actually greater or equal to negative 12. So this is wrong. When it's wrong there, then it is an empty set, and you can express it like that, a circle and a line going through it. This is the empty set, wrong. When you have an answer that does make sense and it is true, then the answer is all real numbers are solutions, all real numbers. Okay. So when the answer does not make sense, it's empty set. And if it does make sense, it's all real numbers. Okay, so here's your turn, number 4 and 5. Pause the video and come back when you are done. Actually, we're done. So there you go. Thanks for listening. Make sure you bring in your homework tomorrow.